Golden State Warriors may not be what they were a few seasons ago, but they still have talent led by Draymond Green. Heading into South Philadelphia tonight to take on the 76ers. Speaking of talented veterans, here's one who could be making his first appearance as a 76er tonight, veteran George Hill, who was acquired at the trade deadline. Shake Milton on the floor at the center, warming up. He is getting ready to go as the 76ers continue their four-game homestand tonight and look to keep their winning ways going against the Golden State Warriors. Looking live into the center in South Philadelphia. Ah, yes, love seeing that court laid down in the big house tonight. City Edition night for the 76ers. The stars come out on national television. Seth Curry getting ready to warm up to go against his bro, Steph Curry, who is in the midst of one of the great stretches we have seen in recent history from an NBA player. Welcome to 7-6 Live Countdown presented by Tissot. I'm Brian Seltzer. Lauren Rosen, I almost forgot how to do this show. It's been 2 nights without a game. So here I am sitting here. Wait, oh yes, this is what we call it. That's right. There's a basketball game. I remember what that whole court thing looks like. It feels like a vacation.
Crazy to have 2 days off. Crazy to have them fall on a Saturday and a Sunday. Almost unheard of during this crazy season. But good to see you again, Celts. Happy to be back here in the center as the Sixers play their third in a 4-game homestand against an exciting opponent.
76ers, of course, leading the Eastern Conference. They're on the cusp of getting to 40 before 20, 40 wins before 20 losses. Always a great accomplishment with a record of 39-17. Golden State is a game under 500 at 28-29. They're trying to stay afloat in the Western Conference play-in picture. Right now, they're in 9th place. What we do know is that both Steph Curry and Kelly Oubre are expected to play tonight for Golden State. The 76ers are hoping to be closer back towards full strength. It was nice to see Lauren Steph Curry warming up out there. Still not certain if he's going to go. It sounds like Tobias Harris might be out for the 76ers. And also we're still waiting to get the final word on George Hill as we continue to watch Seth Curry warm up.
Yes, indeed. Good to hear that Tobias is doing okay. The team is keeping him out, or if they keep him out tonight, it'll be out of an abundance of caution. Managing that knee situation, but doctors said our dream that he's not overly concerned. They're just trying to be careful with Tobias. Seth, another one who is questionable this evening, along with Ben Simmons, a non-COVID illness. Dwight Howard also questionable. So we'll see. We're not exactly sure who the Sixers will run out tonight, but we do know that it could be the first time that we see George Hill in a Sixers uniform. No fans are really looking forward to that, whether it comes tonight or in these next couple of games.
Doc Rivers spoke to us and the rest of the media about 20 minutes ago, and I think the way that he framed it, Lauren, was really important and necessary to hear that George Hill might not get the max minutes right off the bat. And it really sounds like there might not even be too many expectations that Doc and the Sixers have for him right off the bat. Listen, he hasn't played a game since the final week in January. He underwent surgery the first week in February. So he's been gradually working his way back. It sounds like the 76ers have a lot of trust in what they know about George Hill and in his proven track record.
Sure, Selton. They're willing to let George Hill ease his way in. This is a team that's proven they're capable of winning games regardless of who is or isn't available. Expect this night to be no different. And adding George Hill to that equation could only be a positive for the team that understands how to win games with or without guys like George Hill, who so far they only know how to win games without him. Adding him into the fold, I'm sure, will be a welcome for the Sixers, the coaching staff, and of course for the fans.
76ers, let's recap where they are to this point on this homestand. Off to a really good start. They're 2-0 on the 4-game homestand. They're riding a 4-game winning streak, Lauren. We talked about this on our Mailbag Monday podcast that came out earlier today. But the fact that how much difference a week can make when you're looking at the NBA schedule, because it was just 10 days ago in New Orleans, the Sixers suffered a tough loss, came right back, beat Oklahoma City the next night, went to Dallas, won there, and then they've been grinding through the last couple of games. close against two really good teams, despite those teams not having their full complement of players available. But as was the case in Friday's win of the Clippers, 106-103, Sixers weren't at full strength either.
Yep, that one felt a little bit more narrow than maybe the Brooklyn game felt in terms of who was available and who wasn't. Of course, the Sixers without Tobias Harris, Steph Curry, and Dwight Howard in that one. The Clippers without Kawhi Leonard. Felt Serge Ibaka and others, of course, but felt a little bit more level than that game against Brooklyn when they were missing two of their big three. The Sixers found ways, of course, to win both of those. And Seltz, I think they're just happy to be at home. A reminder, 2 really long road trips ahead of this current homestand. They were on the road for 20 out of 23 days. This is a group that's happy to be in South Philadelphia, happy to be playing in front of their fans. And it's shown with that 22-5 home record, the best home record in the Eastern Conference.
And listen, when you take on a player who is in the type of rhythm that Paul George was in for the Clippers in the game on Friday, that's a dangerous situation. It is a tough situation to try and put out the fire in. But to the Sixers' credit, they did it. And while Paul George went for 37 points in the game on Friday, came down to a final possession opportunity for the Clippers to tie. And the Sixers did not let Paul George touch the ball in the inbounds play. He might have been able to chase after the miss from Marcus Morris, but nevertheless, I think the Sixers defense, the way they handled things in the final minutes, I want to say final 4 or 5 minutes in that game, on Friday, was something that I really liked.
Largely thanks to Ben Simmons putting in that defensive player of the year work in that final possession. There he is. Strong night for Ben, strong night for Joel. This was one of maybe my favorite performances of this season, especially early. Of course, it got a little close there at the end, but cool to see the guys figure out a way to win this one, even absent a couple of their big guys.
No question. The 76ers, I like the fact that they had to figure out a way to win another close game. I feel like it only adds to the character of this team. Clippers took a lead in the fourth quarter. The Sixers ultimately were able to ride Joel Embiid. A couple key free throws from Danny Green to help them get over the hump. And it was a game in which, Lauren, we even see someone like Anthony Tolliver getting in there and contributing it, swinging it to the open man, Furkan Korkmaz. Korkmaz, another Sixer who continues to play well. I just feel like all these guys have been stepping up. Well-rounded contributions as of late.
Yeah, good to see Tyrese Maxie capitalize on those extra minutes. More on him in just a little bit. You mentioned Furkan Korkmaz scoring just like crazy. Really good to see him heating up there. Of course, Ben Simmons with the and one. It's been great to see everybody sort of find their footing at this point in the season. There's Furkan. That was maybe the biggest shot of the game. What do you say, Seltz?
No doubt. And I loved how Shake Milton, despite some offensive struggles throughout the game, hit that big corner three. Great effort all the way around for the 76ers as they get that win 106-103 on Friday. You know what else I love, Lauren? Some warm fuzzies being passed around the 76ers. I would challenge another team in the NBA to do warm fuzzies like the 76ers players are doing warm fuzzies right now. Let's start with Joel Embiid and what he had to say about his fellow All-Star teammate Ben Simmons after the game on Friday.
Oh yeah, we are monsters in the half court. We got someone in Ben, which should be the defensive player of the year. He's been dominant all season on that end of the floor. And I know that's something he wants. He wants so much, and he deserves it. He deserves to be defensive player of the year. And you got guys like me and Matisse. Tobias is very underrated when it comes to that, and obviously Danny. We got a bunch of guys that also should be on the all defensive teams. When you play against us in the half court, we are dominant on that end. Our downfall has been, transition defense. That's something that we talked about a lot, and we getting better, and we really gonna get better.
Lauren, you might be able to remind me. I forget who it was recently who said this, but after a recent 76ers game, I think one of the opposing head coaches talked about just how dangerous the 76ers defense can be in a half-court situation. I think that's something, maybe it was a player who said, in the half-court, the Sixers defense is for real. It might have been Kyrie after the game on Wednesday night against Brooklyn. I can't remember because it seems like all these games at this stage of the season are meshing together. But I would agree with Joel's sentiment that, yeah, in the half court, so tough to stop the 76ers stoppers defensively if they're at full strength.
I was particularly appreciative, too, of the shout-outs that Joel always tends to give. That one, of course, mostly about Ben Simmons, who is putting together a pretty convincing Defensive Player of the Year case. Good to hear Joel give props to Matisse Thybulle, to Tobias Harris, who he says is underrated on the defensive end. It's an area Tobias has put tons of work in, and it's great to see them thrive as a unit and give each other credit. Ben Simmons had the opportunity to do just the same, and he helped make the case for the big fella.
I mean, I don't think teams really know what to do when guarding him. I think he's clearly the MVP this season. You know, he's been so dominant and consistent this whole year, and he's been healthy, which has been great for us. So, I mean, I don't know how to stop him.
You love hearing this. Two guys totally simpatico, stumping for each other. Terrific.
I love it. They make two pretty convincing cases, that's for sure. Good to see them hyping one another up. They've been doing so all season. Let's look back at All-Star, the way that Ben, Joel, and Tobias really hyped each other up. Of course, Tobias didn't end up making it this season, but there are still chances for him up ahead. I am sure of it. Really cool to see the way that those three especially have been supporting each other, not just on the court, but off the court and publicly, really giving each other their flowers that they deserve.
Some numbers on Joel Embiid, 3 straight games with 36 points or more. That a first since Allen Iverson in 2006. 3 straight games with 30-plus points and 7-plus rebounds, I believe is the cutoff. That a first since Charles Barkley in 1990. So some really awesome stuff from Joel Embiid. The Sixers in the midst of a crazy – speaking of crazy numbers, I think it's 9 straight games with at least a nationally televised game for the 76ers. That has to be close to some sort of record. We know the big reason why is the big man, Joel Embiid. We know the reason why the atmosphere at the center is great because of our guys with Sixers ENT. Let us check in with the one and only Sixers ENT. Guys.
All right, and welcome to the 7-6 Live Countdown presented by Tissot, the official watch of the NBA and your Philadelphia 76ers. I am your main man, Archie, and this guy standing to my right, your left, is none other than Christian Crosby.
Thank you, Archie. Couldn't be more excited for some Sixers basketball. As you can see, we have Squad 7-6 here and the Sixers giving us the energy we need for tonight's matchup. Now, I want to remind you guys a couple of things. First up is the Sixers mobile app. Be sure to tune in with that as the game gets started. You can get photos, you can get videos, updates. You can even check in on the podcast with Brian and Lauren. There's also something you can do on there. You can redeem your Wendy's Frosty Freeze Out. Archie, what am I talking about?
Second half of the game, the Wendy's Frosty Freeze Out is back. Your chance to win free eats and fabulous treats. If we get those Golden State Warriors to miss 2 consecutive free throws, we get a free small Frosty. Another 2, we get a small fry with that. And if they miss another 2, then we're going home with a medium Frosty and a medium fry, courtesy of Wendy's. I love that game. Love it.
Let's get into some energy. Matter of fact, let's do it right now. Sixers, what you got? Here we go.
They play so smooth. Make sure you catch the game tonight on ESPN 97.5 The Fanatic. It's going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. As always, Christian, good to see you.
Let's go, Sixers!
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it. Yes. Archie, Christian, Antoine, Sixers ENT, the best in-game entertainment. So happy that now a little bit more than 4,000 fans per game can experience that, Lauren, in person like you are?
No doubt about it, but they deserve some credit for what they were doing before those 4,000 fans came into the building, bringing the energy, creating a home court environment for the 76ers, who built up a lot of that 22-5 record with no fans in the building whatsoever. So big shouts to ENT for all they've been doing this season.
76ers taking on the Golden State Warriors, second matchup of the season between these two teams. Sixers trying to go for the season series sweep. We know that if Steph Curry is playing, doesn't matter if Clay's not out there, he's out for this season due to injury, that there's the threat of three-point shooting. And Curry, we'll get into this in a little bit, has just been insane on an insane tear from outside the arc. But the Sixers, I like seeing them learn, knocking down some threes the last game. They hit 14 of them. I'm not even really looking at percentages, but that's 14, a little bit more. I'd say probably about 2 per game more than what the 76ers customarily hit. And a guy who's been really involved in that effort as of late, shooting from outside the arc, is Furkan Korkmaz.
He has been wonderful. The last few games for Furkan include 2 20-point performances, another 18-point performance against the Clippers. He's really found ways to get it done. He's had his ups, his downs this season, but he's found a way to get this hot streak going and keep it going. His teammates, of course, have been thrilled for him. You can see him on the bench just going crazy every time one of his shots fall. It's been awesome to see Furkan thriving over these last few games.
Absolutely. As we talked about, he had a great play late in the game against the LA Clippers, 18 points at least in 3 of his last 4 games, and his 5 3-point field goals against the Clippers tied his second highest total of the season. Furkan spoke about filling in starting minutes when called upon and delivering on the court afterwards.
When I start the game, I think game is easy because I know what I'm going to do. And then it's easy with the first unit, just space, because I know I'm going to get the shots up. They're going to trap Joe. Ben is going to get a lot of attention. And then I'm going to have freedom to shoot. And then that's what I did.
The world is just made that much easier when all the pieces fit together like that. Lauren, another guy who I really enjoyed watching in the game on Friday was Tyrese Maxie.
Yes, indeed. Tyrese has been staying ready all season. This, of course, a tremendously unconventional rookie season for Tyrese, but he says he's been in the gym every day, come what may, regardless of how many minutes he is or isn't playing. He's a guy who just loves this game. It radiates from him, and I had the opportunity to catch up on what's been going on with Tyrese earlier today. Hey, Tyrese, you really capitalized on your extended minutes against the Clippers. When so many guys are listed as questionable or dealing with nagging injuries like they are tonight, does that impact the way that you prepare, knowing that you might have extended minutes again?
I don't think it, the preparation changes at all. You kind of stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So just staying prepared, working out on off days, working out the day of the game, doing the same thing I've been doing.
And then as we enter the end of your first regular season in the NBA and start to look towards the playoffs, what have the vets been doing for you? Which of them have you been gravitating towards in terms of sort of learning what's coming next?
I think, we have a pretty veteran team if you think about it from across the board. We have guys like Tobias, guys like Danny Green, who's won a championship, Dwight Howard, who also won a championship. And recently we've added George Hill, who's a savvy guard who's really been helping me as of late, especially in certain low-minute games. Playing against him has been really great.
And then last but not least, during that last game, I noticed Ben really hyping you up after a couple big plays. And you guys had a relationship prior to being teammates. How has that relationship grown over the last 6 months or so?
Of course it's grown just because of how much time we have to spend with each other. But he's been great influence. He always encouraged me to, every time I step on the floor, he says, man, go out there and do what you do. You know what you are capable of, and we all do, and we all trust you. So just go out there and play your game.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyrese.
Thank you.
Tyrese again had 9 points, 3 assists in 16 minutes against the Clippers. Love hearing his policy. You stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's one I believe in as well. Always a pleasure to hear from someone who really, really does put in the work, loves this game, and loves being a part of this team. Obviously, tonight, we still are awaiting word on the availability of Ben Simmons, Steph Curry, Dwight Howard, George Hill. But someone like Tyrese Maxie could get some more opportunities on an evening like tonight with those guys questionable. And always great to hear that he's doing well and learning from some great veterans.
No question. 76ers and Tyrese Maxey getting ready for another big week. Golden State Warriors, always a threat, especially with Steph playing the way he's playing right now. Then on Wednesday, one of the surprise teams in the NBA this season, the Phoenix Suns, the number 2 team in the West. Night after that, they're in Milwaukee to start a 2-game road series against the third-place Bucks. Wow, it is going to be quite a fun week for the 76ers fans. That is for sure to follow this. Beginning tonight with Golden State. And yes, you can make the case that the Warriors are on the double for the postseason picture, not the bubble, the double. We can do better. Next time we will with those captions. But the point remains, they're 9th place in the Western Conference. They're 2 games behind the 8th place spot. But, Lauren, right now the story for them is Steph Curry, who was announced earlier today as the Western Conference Player of the Week.
Well, Steph Curry has long been one of my favorite players personally to watch in this league. The way he plays on the court, the way he carries himself off the court, always been a class act and someone who's just a pleasure to watch. Of course, bad news for the Sixers, the way he's been playing lately on an absolute tear, nearly 40 points a game in his last 9 appearances. You see him there getting ready. And I believe some special Curry brand shoes that we might see some more of from his brother Steph as well later on today.
Yeah, there's something going on with them and their shoes. They have a tradition. And this is the first time, of course, that Steph will go head-to-head on the courts, with Steph being with the 76ers. Both Under Armour athletes. Candy is involved. Am I getting the peripheral parts of this story correct, Lauren?
I believe so. I think there's probably more to come on that one. But shout out, of course, to Coletti and our crew for showing us the sneakers right after I said it. You guys are the best in the biz. Really cool to see Steph out there and a potential family feud on deck.
Yeah, I love doing this in the arena when times are normal. We can just keep the camera on Steph. Just watch the warm-ups. It is truly one of the greats to have played this game all time and obviously in modern history. 3 out of his last 4 games, he's hit at least 10 3-pointers. He is shooting at an insane clip right now of better than 54% from 3 over the last 4 games. The Warriors just had a 5-game winning streak snap with a loss at Boston the other day. 2 days ago on Saturday, they lost by 5 points. So Golden State has been playing better with Steph on this tear. It is time, Lauren. I'm just sensing it. I'm checking my Tissot. Yes. I'm checking my NBA Tissot Chrono XL Special Edition because I'm getting those vibes that it's time for the Tissot Keys to the game.
And so that's interesting because my Tissot PR100, which I believe I need to raise a little higher for you guys to see over that swanky lower third, also says that it might be time for the Tissot Keys to the game.
Lauren, you will lead us off.
All right, I got you, Seth. We heard just now that both Steph Curry and Kelly Oubre Jr. will be available for tonight's game. Well, what does that mean? Perimeter patrol for the 76ers, Oubre, Curry, and Andrew Wiggins, the team's top 3 scorers. And, of course, Steph shooting threes at a higher volume than the other 2, but they can get rain as well. If Sixers can get those usual suspects on the perimeter, look for a Ben Simmons, a Danny Green, a Matisse Thybulle to lock those guys up, they'll be in good shape tonight against these Warriors.
As far as perimeter defenses go in the NBA, the 76ers have one of the best, perhaps no better group to try and slow and cool down Steph Curry right now as he goes on this tear. For me, my key is cleanup duty. You know what would be totally demoralizing if the 76ers gave up offensive rebounds to the Golden State Warriors off a Steph Curry miss, and then he got yet another shot to knock down a 3. So the Sixers, they are top 10 in offensive rebounding percentage. The Golden State Warriors are 30th in offensive rebounding percentage. Would love to see the Sixers crash the glass, gobble up those rebounds, and not allow Golden State any more opportunities than what they get initially off the first shot. That's my key to the game.
I like it, Subs. I like it as always.
Keys to the Game presented by Tissot. We love them and thank them and appreciate them for sponsoring the good old 7-6 live countdown that allows us to bring this to you. Before we say sayonara on this Monday night, we have content to promote. What else do we do? It's a 7-6 live countdown tradition as we tell you about our Mailbag Monday pod. Lauren, this has become a fave of mine as the season's gone along. Just more and more fun hearing from all the peeps out there.
Yeah, you guys have really been engaging with us for Mailbag Monday, and we so appreciate it. I do this because I love connecting with the fans and getting to hear your voices, especially this year when we all are all so far apart. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you, as always, to everybody that called in. Keep them coming. We love having these conversations with you guys every Monday.
One thing we've been weighing in on, the name for the Furkan Korkmaz fan group.
Yes, indeed. I have my favorite. I know there are a few other options out there as well. I believe we're going to get an official ruling, maybe hear from some other voices on how exactly we should make this decision. So stay tuned for that one. We'll have a Furkan Korkmaz fan base name quicker than you know it.
You can find and follow us by searching 76ers Podcast wherever you get your pods. All right, that's going to do it for tonight. George Hill could be making his first appearance as a 76er tonight. We do not know that yet for certain, but this is great to see George Hill warming up. I don't know much, Lauren, but if I look into what that apparel says and that getup, that to me means closer. I don't know when close is, but to me it looks like closer. He's looking closer-ish.
He looks comfortable, which is great. I mean, of course, you would have loved to have him playing right away, but he's had a couple weeks to really get to know his teammates. He's definitely active on the bench, chatting with some of the younger guys. Good to see him get acclimated and spend so much time with the team, even if he couldn't play right away. Again, if you're just joining us now, I'm sorry to hear that because we're about to sign off. But George Hill could make his Sixers debut tonight. He was upgraded to questionable after being out rehabbing from that thumb surgery since he was traded to the Sixers. Tonight could be the debut, and it sounds like, based on what Doc Rivers had to say prior to the game, that if tonight doesn't bring the debut, it is coming. It is coming rapidly. George Hill getting ready for whenever that debut does come.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Ryan Coletti and Trevor Gaffney and everyone else streaming along out there. We'll talk to you before the 76ers and the Suns square off in another good one on Wednesday night from the center. Enjoy tonight's game.